There's ongoing buzz about the script development for the untitled Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. As the project unfolds, Holland, along with Kevin Feige and reps from Sony Pictures, are deep diving into various plot directions. While the continuation of the multiverse concept is still in play, it's come to light that Holland and the Marvel bigwigs are leaning towards a more realistic and grounded approach. About a year and a half back, Kevin Feige mentioned that Spider-Man in MCU has now become a street-level character, hinting that future movies will be grittier than ever. Whatever that implies, we got a straight-up teaser in No Way Home's final scene, where Peter stitches up a classic suit that's a nod to the old-school comics. Now, he's flying solo, sans Stark tech, and Doctor Strange's magic. This ending cracks open a whole lot of storyline possibilities, setting the stage for a more mature Parker and starting from scratch. Recently, there's been some details about when we might expect Spider-Man 4 to hit theaters. Insiders are hinting that the movie's release is scheduled before Avengers 5, which is set for May 1st, 2026. It looks like we might be seeing Spider-Man 4 pushed to 2027, making 2026 a possible debut for the new solo Peter Parker adventure. While this news hasn't been officially confirmed yet, it underscores Marvel's ambition to expand its universe further. The film could zero in on Spider-Man's urban clashes and his interactions with other key characters like Daredevil and Kingpin. Regardless of the final plot choice, it's clear that the script is still a work in progress. Given the studio's eagerness to release the film before the next Avengers, logically filming should kick off sometime between the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025. Sony Pictures is pushing for a quick release of Spider-Man 4, aiming for a premiere in 2025. However, Kevin Feige, bogged down with other projects, doesn't see a way to launch it next year. Sony has already scheduled a premiere for one of their Marvel Comics-based movies on July 27th, 2025, and it's speculated that this date is targeted for the new Spider-Man installment. Moreover, Sony is keen on incorporating multiverse elements into the film, whereas Marvel Studios would prefer to focus on a more realistic story. There's buzz that Jon Watts, the director behind the Spider-Man trilogy, might be bowing out of the franchise. He was previously tapped to helm Fantastic Four, but exited the project before production kicked off. Matt Shakman, known for his work on WandaVision, has since filled his shoes. Kevin Feige seems keen on refreshing the creative team and bringing in a new director for Spider-Man 4, hoping to inject some fresh ideas into the franchise's development. The big question of who will take the helm remains, but the choice of director will be a pivotal moment for the film's production. However, Tom Rothman from Sony Pictures is rooting for Jon Watts to continue as the director of Spider-Man 4, sparking some disagreements among the studio's top brass. But considering Sony's major role in the Spider-Man movie's production, a resolution might be on the horizon pretty soon. We might be hearing about the new director leading the charge on the next film before long. So, as you can see, things aren't exactly smooth sailing for Spider-Man 4. It's been a whole 3 years without any solid news on the fourth movie, and it's not because Tom Holland wanted to take a career break. After No Way Home raked in almost $2 billion, Hollywood typically doesn't hesitate and aims to fast-track a sequel. However, the latest from Marvel suggests that the silence around Spider-Man 4 is due to internal disagreements. Sony wants to shoot the film one way, while Marvel envisions it quite differently. These behind-the-scenes battles for creative control could be what's delaying the project's development. Let me dive a bit deeper into this for you. Starting with Marvel's side, Kevin Feige, as I mentioned before, envisions Peter Parker's future as a return to his roots after epicness, according to his own statements. He aims to focus on Peter's everyday life as a college student and friendly neighborhood, going back to using a homemade suit. This approach suggests a local plot with an emphasis on street-level themes, moving away from global threats, including space, gods, and the multiverse, to concentrate on more grounded and personal challenges for the hero. The main idea is to portray Spider-Man as an independent hero. Despite a whole trilogy, he is still closely tied to the existing cinematic universe, which has both aided and hampered him. Kevin proposes taking a step back from this dependency, considering Tony Stark is no longer around. And Spider-Man, as Marvel's most popular superhero, has a vast of personal enemies and solo stories to explore. Marvel sees an opportunity to scale down the story, focusing on the more grounded and personal aspects of Parker's life. This involves delving into the street life of New York, which will allow the character to develop in new directions while maintaining his essence and appeal to viewers. This approach avoids the constant push towards escalating epicness, which is physically impossible to sustain over time. Focusing on street-level plots and interactions with new villains offers a chance for a fresh take on the character and the franchise's development without the risk of viewer fatigue. In contrast, Sony aims to go big. Motivated by the success of No Way Home, the studio is eager to create a new crossover that would reunite Tobey and Andrew and possibly include characters from the animated universe. While the specifics of their plan remain under wraps, it's speculated that Sony intends to integrate Tom Holland into the multiverse, especially with the planned release of Beyond the Spiderverse. The studio sees the multiverse as a way to further develop the franchise, including a seamless transition to a live-action movie about Miles Morales. However, the ambition to constantly expand the scale and reuse the multiverse concept could risk repetition and accusations of greed from the audience if the new idea doesn't prove to be unique. The fact that audiences have already seen their dream come true on screen with the return of Tobey and Andrew, but a second time is unlikely to have the same effect. The multiverse is gradually wearing viewers out. This serves as a compelling argument in favor of Marvel Studios' approach to the next Spider-Man movie. It underscores that relying solely on fan service won't last long, and the audience is looking for something more meaningful and innovative after being saturated with epic battles and the multiverse. Personally, I agree with this viewpoint. On the other hand, the concept of the multiverse doesn't necessarily have to be linked only to massive storylines. Into the Spider-Verse showed that such a setting can serve as a backdrop for more personal and grounded stories, as seen with Miles Morales. The comics are also filled with examples of stories focused on Spider-Man's personal issues that don't aspire to global epicness. This suggests the possibility of a middle ground where elements of the multiverse can be combined with a more down-to-earth plots while still maintaining the uniqueness and innovation of each film, satisfying a wide range of audience interests. Therefore, it's not justified to outright criticize Sony's approach as mistaken. Instead, it's more constructive to consider what Peter Parker's character truly needs from a storyline perspective. It's crucial to find a unique element or feature that will make Spider-Man 4 stand out and not just seem like a repeat of previous films. Interestingly, by following Kevin Feige's approach, we risk ending up with something we've already seen in Tobey Maguire's trilogy. Starting with a grounded story could eventually lead us back to Osborn's love intrigues and work at the Daily Bugle. Trying to compete with the atmosphere of the Raimiverse might turn out to be counterproductive. Honestly, I'm really hoping to see Venom show up in Spider-Man 4, bringing symbiotes into MCU, especially with a story that zooms in on Spider-Man's personal journey and tosses in some multiverse vibes, could seriously spice things up. Venom's one of those legendary bad guys, and it's about time the story took a leap forward. Getting another Green Goblin and Doc Ock feels kinda off the table. It just wouldn't make much sense, right? But Venom, that's a whole different story. We got a taste of what could be coming with that tease. The symbiote's already lurking in MCU, so why not dive deep into that storyline in the next movie? Fans are crazy about Venom, and it's kind of wild that it's been a whole 17 years since we've seen him throw down with Spider-Man on the big screen. The audience is definitely primed for a Venom arc. Spider-Man 4 could totally dive into Peter's first run-in with the symbiote, which is a huge deal in the comics. We could get into how the symbiote messes with Parker, wrestling with those new urges, and then facing the big decision to ditch or keep this newfound power. It's a perfect chance to dig into some really personal stuff, like figuring out who you are and dealing with your inner demons. The classic showdown between Spidey and Venom could totally get a fresh spin, focusing on their relationship. The movie could dive into how their face-off impacts Peter's personal life and those around him. Initially, we could see the traditional conflict highlighting its effect on Peter's world, but then as the story unfolds, it could evolve into a plot where Spider-Man and Venom find a common enemy, one so threatening that it forces them to reconsider their stances and join forces. This twist would not only take their relationship to a new level, but also serve up dynamic battle scenes and unexpected alliances while keeping the emotional tension and character conflicts brewing. It's a chance to show how they learn to work together despite their differences. Bringing Venom into the mix could really offer the best of both worlds to viewers. We're talking psychological depth and drama, plus the epic battle scenes audiences love. This blend of drama and action could attract a wide audience, offering a fresh take on a familiar story. I can't think of anything better than Venom showing up. Because Kevin Feige's grounded approach might not hit the mark either. There's a real risk the film could end up feeling too dull and draggy since audiences have gotten a taste for larger-than-life stories. But with Venom, you can explore both angles. The symbiote's effect on Peter's psyche, especially after he's lost friends and family, could add a dramatic layer to the plot. Bringing Venom into Spider-Man 4 opens up unique opportunities for character and story development. It's a chance to immerse viewers in complex moral dilemmas and psychological drama, enriching the narrative with depth and tension. And you bet audiences will flock to theaters to see Venom team up with Tom Holland. Characters like Kingpin and Daredevil might just play supporting roles, not lead ones. Their presence can enrich the story, adding extra layers of conflict and alliances, and even lay the groundwork for future plot lines. Subscribe.